testing the mic, too loud, too soft? That's good. Okay. Well, hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Lori Burgess, and I'm interviewing today for the director position here at the Fond du Lac Public Library. I've been with, it's echoing. Lori, do you want to turn down the volume just a little bit? Sorry. Okay, we'll keep going. I've been living and working here in the Fond du Lac area for the last 20 years and currently serve as the Assistant Director of Operations as well as the Interim Director here at the library. As part of the interview process, I've been asked to perform a SWOT analysis and present a 5-year vision for the library. Before we get started with that, let's look up what makes a successful public library. At the core of any library is its collections and services. But libraries are so much more than books, as we are here in Fond du Lac. We also offer many programs and services, from not only audiobooks to the plant exchange to puzzle exchanges to equipment, games, and video games for everyone to use. In order to organize, maintain, and offer those services, public libraries need staff. We help guide people in using those services and host all of the programs here at the library. Public libraries are often in buildings or facilities of some size, and here in Fond du Lac, we're fortunate enough to have the Beco branch out near Festival Foods, as well as the main library here downtown. Of course, none of this happens for free, and public libraries require finances and a budget to make all of that work. And of course, public libraries need communities. We require community support to have any successful library. And so as we move on to looking at a SWOT analysis that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A SWOT analysis looks at the internal factors of our strengths and weaknesses and the external factors that we can observe around us. When we combine those two concepts of a SWOT analysis for a public library, we look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, not only for our services and collections, but our staff, facilities, budget, and even the community. Of course, I don't have time in 20 minutes to cover all of those things today in just one short presentation. So what I've done is just pulled out some of the highlights of those things, and here in the room there is additional information on the handouts that I've been able to pull out, but even that is just a taste of what strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for each part and segment of what makes up a successful public library. So let's get started with our strengths. Here at Fond du Lac, we have an awesome staff. They are creative and caring and knowledgeable, and you will not find better staff members here at any library in the state or throughout the country. When we don't see our regulars for a while, we worry about them. We get to know kids who come to story times. We are part of our community, and our community is part of the library. So having a caring staff who are fiscally responsible and very creative are really essential to our library. And we recycle everything. So even when money is available, you can give cardboard boxes or milk jugs to some of our staff and they'll make a program. So the library staff are expert program planners and our services are top notch. They are very responsible in the materials that they purchase and the services that we provide. Our community's commitment to funding the public library and the supplemental income from the Seafeld Trust allow us to afford the kids' equipment, games, and electronic resources only found in larger libraries. Community support has even funded our book bike and has even gotten our solar project off the ground. And for many years, we've been able to operate an independent use bookstore in a standalone building. So let's move on to our weaknesses. No organization is perfect, and we've known for a while that signage and wayfinding are needs that we have here at the library. Staff were recently able to take field trips to other libraries, and it reinforced the need that we have for additional and increased signage so that people are able to navigate our building and find materials that they need on their own. We have a great idea studio makerspace here in the library, and unfortunately, due to staffing levels, we're not able to have it open all of the hours that the library is open. That's a weakness of ours, that space is sitting idle. And hopefully we will be able to address that soon. Staffing levels are a consistent struggle, that while we are barely staffed adequately, we can maintain our service points and help people as they come in. But when staff go on outreach events or calling in sick or vacations, it becomes difficult. And oftentimes other departments are scrambling to help keep our service points staffed adequately. So what are some of the external environmental opportunities that exist within our community? There is an increased need for literacy programs. Test scores in our community can always be improved. Early childhood literacy is vital for a successful community. These are our future employees, business owners, community leaders, and we need to make sure that they can read adequately, and that even simple things like reading instructions and reading chats on video games, we read all day long. Can you imagine what it would be like if you couldn't read a job application, or if you couldn't read the employee handbook at work, or if you couldn't read the materials that the school district sends home for your kids? That's happening in our community. So there is an increased need for English as a second language classes, for increased information literacy. We have people being taken by scams because they don't know what they can click on. AI is only going to increase those needs. Artificial intelligence can simulate humans very easily, and librarians are poised to help teach community members how to recognize phishing scams and to help prevent that in the future. So some of the partnerships that are presenting themselves are Literacy Coalition. We have a starting partnership with them that can be expanded. We have opportunities with assisted living facilities, with apartment complexes, with artists in the community, and all of those organizations and folks in town just provide more opportunities for outreach and to bring library services to people in our community. On the flip side of that, libraries can serve as a third place, as community centers. It's up to us to bring people together, and we can definitely serve in that capacity in the future. Some of the threats to our success and things that could be obstacles that we will need to overcome, including how entertainment is delivered to people and how people connect with one another. So with the advent of streaming services and things being delivered within 48 hours, people no longer have to travel to their local DVD rental store or come here to the library to rent a DVD or to check out a book. How will we deal with that as a library in the future? We have also found as more people move into our community, they don't know what Fond du Lac is all about. They don't have the connections to other community residents. So it's hard to find how they belong and be welcomed and fit within their local neighborhoods. These are things that the library can help with. We often find that new residents come to find out what's happening at the library as a free resource in our community and in all communities throughout the country. People stop at the library just to find out and make connections, find out what's happening. For many years, we have struggled as a community with our teen spaces and what can teens do on the weekends. We started addressing that with our teen space upstairs, but there's always more work that can be done. And with our lack of local advertising outlets, the library and other organizations rely on word of mouth and social networks to get our marketing and advertising out among the community. This is a challenge for us in our current environment. So when we put these things together, we look at our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to not only our services and staff, but also to our facilities, to our funding and budgets, as well as the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to our community. And we have to discuss all of these things to make a successful strategic plan and plan for the future. So our current mission is that the library supports a high quality of living in Fond du Lac through reading, lifelong learning, and community involvement. That's our core business, and that's not going to change. But a vision, a potential vision of the future could be that the library is a vibrant and fun community center that welcomes everyone as they learn, connect, explore, create, relax, play, and discover new ideas. Now, one person should never create an organizational vision or strategic plan for a community public library. It would rely on community stakeholders, staff, you as the board, the public, to provide input on those things. But I would put forward, this is one possibility of our future. In order to reach that, what steps do the next few years take? So our current strategic initiatives that we are radically welcoming, that we create a culture of curiosity and innovation, we communicate effectively among ourselves and with our community, that we invest in our people and places and help that community happens here in the library and wherever library staff bring library services. Our current initiatives, that plan goes through 2026, and we're not finished with all of the hopes and activities and goals that we put forth for ourselves 4 years ago. We need time to not necessarily complete, but definitely work on and evaluate those initiatives. So for the next year, we will be doing those things, and we'll continue to work on enhancing our outdoor spaces and our landscaping needs, as well as assessing signage and wayfinding. And as we wrap up and evaluate those strategic initiatives, we can also start working on new strategic initiatives. And that's going to involve, hopefully, doing another community survey. We want input from community members, from our stakeholders, from our board, and from our staff. We're, as a community public library, it takes all of us coming together to set our priorities and our vision for the future. This could involve holding listening sessions, doing a full SWOT analysis for all parts of the library, and articulating a plan for what our priorities will be for the next several years. Of course, after that, we actually have to execute, do those things. And we are very familiar with the Plan, Do, Check, Act process here at the library, where we set forth a plan, we test it, see if we think it's going to work. So we check and evaluate, and then we implement, and then we evaluate again and say, did this have the results we were expecting? And if the activities do, great, what else can we do? So we are constantly in that cycle, and we would continue to do that within the next 5 years. Now, of course, I'd be lying if I didn't at least point out a few things that I would hope would make it into those strategic initiatives. And one of those would be emphasizing the library's role as a community center and connector. This is a place where everyone is welcome, comfortable, informal, and where people can have fun. Those are the places that I want to spend time, and I think others do too. Libraries are unique in that we have technology expertise in our community that we're willing to share as individuals, but also as a community. As people find communities online, we have the expertise to host online communities where people can connect not only in person in our facilities, but also online to create virtual neighborhoods and discussion points. These types of activities would address some of the SWOT points that I addressed earlier. So we would highlight the strengths of our staff and creativity and technology expertise while bringing people together throughout Fond du Lac. The other thing that I would hope would make it into any strategic plan is the library is all about learning and literacy. We're a learning organization, so we believe there is always something new to learn, whether it's how to do a new hobby, or how to speak better English, or how to write a resume. We're here to help, and we try and connect community experts and residents with whatever it is that they're trying to learn. So not only do we provide books and materials, but we offer programs and services and experiential learning activities because we value and we recognize that people learn differently. And we want to serve all of those needs. Again, that addresses many of the SWOT strengths and weaknesses and opportunities that we've already gone over earlier. So at this time, I'd be happy to answer the questions that you have.
Okay. So one of your things, you said you emphasize the role as community center and connector. Expand our role as the community's third space, where everyone is welcome, comfortable, informal, unpretentious, and where people have fun. So what kind of activity, or what would you do? Do you have an example of something that could be done that would highlight those attributes or?
Sure. We already see moments of vibrancy here in the library, from creating a life-size Candyland to having circus science performers and who explain events and do magic shows and explain the science behind that. That engages kids. Not only can they read a book or go to a zoo, or we bring animals here to the library, it helps kids expand their minds and helps them learn new things. For adults, we can also provide new opportunities and experiential learning. Through History at Home, we had someone bring in a canoe that was used 100 years ago. That's not something you see every day at the library, right? We think of books and we can see pictures of canoes and how life used to be, but what's it actually like? Can you touch it? Can you smell it? Doesn't even have a smell. That happens in the Idea Studio, where people create things all day long, but how can we expand on that? How can we make those moments of vibrancy happen more often and more frequently here at the library? Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Perfect.
Anyone else?
Well, I do have one more.
Okay.
Oh,
Sure.
you,
I wanted to ask, what do you think your biggest challenge would be stepping into the role of director from assistant director?
The immediate challenge would be continuing to hold both positions, to cover both positions. But once we got that straightened out, I think, getting through the budget season and getting that approved so we can get into next year, and looking at the organization with fresh eyes, so that next year, as we look at wrapping up the current strategic plan and listening and researching new opportunities and new priorities, it would be a lot of fun. But certainly, it would be a very busy year.
Okay, then my one last question,
Yeah,
unless you say something that I have to follow up on.
bring it on.
We know that one of the goals is to increase our teen usage and the
Yes.
teen space is a place where we could use some more opportunity. So what do you envision there?
There are so many different directions we could go. So we know that throughout a person's lifetime, library use will ebb and flow, right? Teens are traditionally difficult to get into the library. They have a lot going on, whether it's sports and school and a lot of different things pulling them in different directions. So I think making the library relevant as a hangout space, providing programs and services that are attractive to teens, that provide for independent exploration and activities, and becoming a cool space in town, is what we would hope to provide. We know that teens love technology and aren't afraid to try hands-on, and they're not afraid to break computers. They don't actually even break all that often, and when they do, teens love figuring out how to make it work again, right? How can we do that here in the library? We have expanding technology needs. Can we bring teens in to help us and help other parts of our community members, whether that be seniors or small kids, teach others how to use those new technologies? That would further reinforce us being that connector and helping teens get more experience and widening their view of the world. And residents who are learning would appreciate the help. So all of those things are opportunities that the library can help facilitate in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.